Loading Up Podcast. Game on.
Perfect. Welcome back to the Loading Up Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Producer Jay, along with both of my co-hosts, Brother Tay.
I'm not pumped, but we're getting into go.
And we also have Brother Zay.
Yo, what's going on, peoples?
How's it going, guys? Before we get into all of the news that we have for you this week, just want to remind you that if you're listening to us on a podcasting app, you can rate us, you can share us, because that'll help us out and it'll get us to reach more earballs and get more feedback and all that good stuff. If you're watching earballs, if you're watching on YouTube, remember you can like, comment, and subscribe. That will definitely help us out, and we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from all of our viewers and get your thoughts on what we talk about and all that good stuff. If you look in the description of each, you can see that we do have sponsors, and they are NordVPN, Starforge PCs, and W Energy. I don't know why I said it in that order, because usually I say it in a different order. But those are our sponsors. You can save some money off of their subscriptions. If you click the link, it definitely help us out. I know I had to re-up on NordVPN, so I know it's a good service, and it's very good. I use it every day, like literally every day. It might have caused some issues, which we'll talk about later, regarding some playing in different regions, but that's what it's for. You can change your location and stuff like that. And W Energy, obviously, it's summertime. You want to get that summer bod. What the best way to do it is to get some energy drinks to help you out with your workouts and all that stuff. And obviously with Starforge PCs, everything's moving to PC these days, so go click their links and buy from them, because they're gonna be your one-stop shop for anything PC. With that being said, Brother Tay, what have you been playing?
I've been playing 2 games with some bros of mine. So the latest 2K was out for free, so I was playing that with my friends. So that was one. Second one, I got my friend convinced me to buy a game called Police Officer Simulator.
Yes, I heard about that.
And pretty much, I played it the right way. I was like scanning tickets, license plates, so like doing stuff. Like, he decided to be racist.
Hold on, Tay, your mic is like really like muffled.
Oh, hold on. Did we double check on my microphone real quick? I don't know if you heard me, but he decided to be racist and just attack any sort of minority he felt.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
So it's like reverse GTA, essentially. Well,
the game is really fun. I played it.
Yeah, I've seen clips of it. It looks really fun. And I've heard it's actually been doing pretty good too, like in terms of like sales and interaction with the audience and stuff. Brother Zay, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you playing?
Yeah, doing a podcast. What do you mean?
Yeah.
No. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2 because it's just a game that keeps on giving. It's so much fun. Even today, after I don't know how many years it's been out, like 8 years maybe. It's still really fun to play. It looks really good. I've also been playing Gears. We'll talk about a little bit of that later.
Yeah.
Playing some Gears 5. We played some together. And I was gonna say South of Midnight, but it's the wrong Midnight. Midnight Suns.
Oh, really?
Midnight. Yeah. I got it on sale. I've been playing some Midnight Suns. I don't really like these type of games where you just use the cars and stuff. It's weird, but I've been really enjoying the story. I'm really enjoying the game overall.
Yeah, we were talking about it when we were playing that you're not really into the XCOM turn-based style.
Yeah, I don't do those. But that's changing, because like I like Metaphor, which I'm playing also. I'm playing Metaphor, Midnight Sun,
Clear Obscure. I mean, that's turn-based, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's still action, but not turn-based. It's weird. It's like a weird combination. But I love Baldur's Gate 3, which is
Yes.
sort of in that same realm. So maybe I do like him, and I'm talking shit. I mean,
You're
because
growing. You're gaining new knowledge and new appreciation for stuff that you wouldn't have when you were younger.
yeah, I mean, I still
Speaking
won't
of
play XCOM.
well, well, like you just said that you were playing Battlefront 2, and for me, like when I first played it, I wasn't a Star Wars fan, so it's like I couldn't appreciate it back then. Where now I'm actually looking at the footage now, I'm like, yo, this actually does look kind of cool.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
So like this would be something that I could get to now, whereas before I probably would have just given it a pass.
Yeah, no, it's really fun though. Like, yes, when it launched, it did launch very let's say controversial. A lot of things wrong with it, locking characters, loot box this, and
Yeah,
it did have a lot of controversy, but overall the base game was still a lot of fun. And it is still they sort of expanded on it and they made it better. Things are all unlocked now. The XP system, it was
you know,
terrible. Like you would get like one
well,
XP every like 50 games, like one level every 50 or so games. It was so bad. Like you would have to crawling to level up. But they fixed all that. And so now the way the game is set up, it's really fun, very easy to get into, and it's Star Wars, man. If you like Star Wars, like shooting games, you're gonna like Battlefront 2.
yeah. Now I remember just recently there was like a whole push and movement to get Battlefront 3 in development.
Yes,
And who
yes.
knows if that's gonna come into fruition? Or honestly, I feel like the only way that it happens is if it's not made by EA, because they seem like they don't want to make anything licensed outside of the Jedi games.
It's really hard to make like a Battlefront 3 right now. All the developers for Battlefront 2 are scattered now. They're all in different studios, or they're working on, they're all different projects. It's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff behind the scenes. Yeah, the player base and the community want it because we want something more modern, maybe better looking. I mean, the game looks fantastic. After 8 years, it still looks really good. It can still hold up in today's age. Um,
I think the missed opportunity was just not embracing everything of Star Wars. Like it was just the movies and then some of the game, or not some of the games, some of the like the TV shows and stuff like that. But now, especially like with Disney Plus shows and like Andor and Ahsoka and all those becoming popular, Mandalorian, like this is a prime opportunity to like bring it back, but introduce those characters as like the heroes that you want to play as, you know?
well, realistically, if they come out with any game for Star Wars in the form of Battlefront 3, it will be at least 5 years away. This is all
Yeah.
the community wanting something, but just because the community wants it doesn't mean that
That's
it's going to be here anytime soon.
Yeah, that's why I said it can't be done at EA because they already have their hands full and stuff like that. I don't think they want to add on to it. It has to be done somewhere else. I don't know who, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I've been playing. I dabble a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We
So
do.
I've actually been playing quite a bit. In addition to like my usual, I've still been going through Baldur's Gate 3. We actually just made it to Baldur's Gate like today, right before we recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
finally in Act 3.
Finally in Act 3, and literally they did like a whole little cutscene to show us like, oh, you're here, like this is it, like, and I was just like, okay, well, I can't do it right now because I gotta record. But but yeah, so we finally made it. We've gone through the Shadowlands. We cured the curse.
That was gonna
Uh,
be my question.
and literally, actually, like, remember we were talking before about the whole Shadowheart thing with her hair, which I
Yeah.
guess, I mean, spoilers, whatever. She changes her hair color, and it really just depends on what you choose to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And yeah, she ended up changing her hair. So
Well, that's good.
yes, it's good because that it shows that she is free. Like she doesn't have to listen and do whatever Char's will was or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like she can make her own decisions. She's her own
It was a
person.
Full spoiler.
Which I'm
definitely
actually.
a tough choice.
What's that?
It was a
I
hard
said
choice.
full spoiler.
Well, I said spoilers right before I talked about
Yeah,
I
it.
know. I just
But
When the
yeah, it
game
was
is
a.
2 years old already, don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, it was a
Spoiler.
tough.
No.
It was a. I said spoiler. I mean, cover your ears.
I was,
You're never
I
gonna
was
play
messing
this
with
game.
Brothers A. You don't know me. First of all,
Um,
don't be rude.
um, but yeah, it was a tough choice because like you want to respect her and her decision and stuff like that because she was very like adamant about doing what Char's will was and serving
Yeah.
her and stuff like that. But at the same time, you're just like, yo, you being played, girl. Like, stop. So it was good. The outcome is good. I like it. So
Yes.
um
I'm happy you chose that route.
yes, I am too. And I was wondering like what was gonna cause it because I was just like, I hope I made the right decisions. But yeah, so we made it through that. Also, I started not a new game, but like a new game to me because I haven't played it yet. Death Stranding. So
Okay.
when it came out on Xbox, I bought it immediately, obviously, because I love Kojima, like I love pretty much all his games. I haven't played all of them, but I've played a lot of them. So
Yeah.
I knew there was something there, and I remember when it first came out on Game Pass for PC, I downloaded it and I tried it, and I don't know if it was just I don't know, like for whatever reason I just couldn't get into it at that point. And I was just like, okay, maybe this isn't like for me or whatever. So I never got back into it. Then it came off of Game Pass. Then they brought it to Xbox, and that's when I was like, okay, let me buy it and I want to try it again, but then I never got into it because there was a bunch of other games that I was playing at the time. So it kind of went on the back burner. But then I realized, and I don't know why I didn't realize this sooner, it's a play anywhere title, which is something that, is becoming more and more prominent on the Xbox messaging, which we'll get into later. Yeah, so I remember I was looking at on my ROG Ally at work and I saw it that it was there. And I was like, oh, it's play anywhere. Like I can play it on this. So there's like a website that I use to kind of determine if a game is not playable. Like obviously it's playable, but is it worth playing because performance issues and stuff like that, like it's still a mobile device that's kind of like it's like a mid to high range. It's not high range, so some of these games can be very demanding. Like I can't really play Clair Obscur. Like I can play it, but it's not a good experience. So
Like,
Really?
would it be like
yeah.
would it be like technical difficulties and things like that?
Yeah, there's like glitches and it runs at like sub 30 frames and it's
Oh
like
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't play that game like that.
yeah, that I'm like I could play it, but it would be a very suboptimal experience. So I was just like, you know what, let me not even bother because I tried and it wasn't working. So so there's a website that I use that basically tells you like what the settings to put and they give it a rating on how it performs on the ROG Ally. So I looked it up. I looked up Death Stranding, and they gave it a 5 stars that on performance and stuff like that because it's
Nice.
strictly just performance. And I was like, oh shit! So then I tried it and I put all the settings that I said, and it runs buttery smooth. And I was actually surprised because that game looks really good. Like the details,
it looks the game graphics look amazing.
yeah, the game like itself is just very like pretty to look at and the details on the models and stuff like that. Like when I first saw it like there, I was like, there's no way this game is gonna run well on the Ally, but it did. So yeah, so and playing it, and I just did the prologue and I did a little bit after, because one thing that I was reminded of is Kojima's long ass cutscenes. I literally like, so I get an hour break and I started playing like around like maybe like 10 minutes in because I sit down, I set everything up, and I get my water and stuff like that. So 10 minutes into my break I start playing, and literally I play like 5 minutes and then a cutscene plays, and then after the cutscene's done I gotta go back to work. Like it's literally putting the thing down for like 30 minutes, 35 minutes plus, just watching cutscenes. And it's
Terrible.
like I I should have expected it because I mean I know him. I know how he makes games. He's very like cinematic and stuff like that. So, but in terms of the gameplay though, like I feel like that's a perfect game to play on the go because it's like it's open world. You're making deliveries and you're traversing the area. Like you can just put on some music or listen to a podcast and just play. So, but when it
Yeah,
comes to the
FedEx
story
Simulator.
beats, what's that?
The FedEx Simulator.
Yeah, that's what it was called, the FedEx Simulator. Um, but yeah, so I'm playing that and I'm like getting into it. So it's very confusing. Like they're throwing a lot at me in the beginning and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what?
You don't know. You're not gonna know what's going on until you reach like the next area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I figured, but
And
I'm
even then, it's
trying
still confusing.
yeah, I'm trying to like I'm trying to keep an open mind. I'm trying to like pay attention and like see what I can retain in terms of like the information dump that they give me, but it's hard. There's a lot of terminology. But yeah, so that's the main game that I started playing. Uh we did play a little bit of the Gears of War Reloaded beta.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that, Brother Zay?
Oh man. Well, all right. It's just a beta, so I'm gonna say I'm
Yes,
gonna
we
come out and
do
say
have
that.
to reiterate it is a
Yes,
beta,
it
which
is
is
just a
kind
beta.
of weird because I get that now it's on more platforms and stuff like that, but it's like this game has been out like 3 times already. There's been the original release, the PC original version, the Games for Windows Live version. There's the Ultimate Edition,
Ultimate Edition, yeah.
and then now this. So it's like, come on, that you
To
should
be
have
fair.
been like.
Oh my god, I can't say bird. Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so what I did get to play of it, I feel like obviously the servers need work because we can't
Yes.
connect to a game when we're grouped up if 2 or 3 players are in there, so we definitely need to they definitely need to work on the servers. But again, I feel like what we did play of it, the National Shotgun it wasn't hitting like other
It
games,
wasn't.
like other
Yeah.
Gears games. It felt off. Something was wrong. Because when it wasn't obviously when it stopped working, me and you switched to Gears 5. We started playing Gears 5 and it felt buttery smooth.
Mhm.
Obviously it's gonna be a big difference between a remaster for Gears 1, but the National Shotgun felt like you were hitting in Gears 5 compared to this beta. Well, again, it's just a beta, so I'm not gonna be too harsh on it. I'm still gonna play it when it comes out because I want to play. Um, but I just felt like it was missing the marks on the servers, on like the way the guns hit. It just felt weird.
Yeah, it did feel like there wasn't that like punch to the weapons. Like it felt like, granted, this is the first game, and the Ultimate Edition came out like what? It was 2015, I think, 2016.
Something I think it was no, I don't even know now. You got me confused.
Yeah, I mean it's close to a decade old at this point because it came out on Xbox One. So yeah, it's definitely aged not that great. It's still fun to play. Like we only got to play one game, but
Yeah.
actually I did play again today, and I got into 2 games fairly easily. So I think they ironed out the server issues.
Yeah, but you're also not grouped up, right?
No, it was by myself. So maybe
Yeah.
that had because we noticed that if you had a group of 3, it was harder to find that one left to join you.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but anyway. But yeah, we were playing, me, brother Zay, and brother Jay. We were all playing, and then brother Matt was gonna join. He joined for we tried to join. I don't think we got in the game with
You
him.
never got into play with him.
Yeah, because he was playing another game. He was playing The Alters, which is a game that just dropped on Game Pass. So I want to try it out. Yeah. So it was not the best first foot, but again, it's a beta, so you gotta expect this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we went back to or we went to Gears of War or Gears 5, It was like night and day. I was just like, yo, this is the Gears I remember.
And it was
So,
fun.
and it was fun. Yeah, we played like I think it was like 2 games, 3 games.
We played 3 games. I think we won all of them.
Yeah, and we won all of them. We were wrecking these scrubs. But yeah, so I do think that this is more for the PlayStation audience, obviously, because this is the first Gears game that they're getting. This is their first
Competition.
Gears experience. What's that?
Yeah. Yeah, for PlayStation, yeah, unfortunately. Such a
Yeah,
great
so they don't know what Gears 5 is like. So I think they don't know what they're missing because they never had it. So I guess
they're gonna love it. They're gonna absolutely love it.
they're gonna love it. And it's funny because like something happened that we talk about, and other people online talk about, like maybe this is what they do, or this is the purpose. So while we were playing, brother Jay, because this again, he was playing on PlayStation. He was talking about how when this game comes out, we're gonna do story mode and stuff like that. And then we were telling him that it's only 2 players. And he's like, oh no, then we told him like, oh, Gears 2 and 3, you could play with more people, and then obviously Gears 4 and 5 are only on Xbox. But they're all on Game Pass. And then literally he was like, you know what? Maybe I should just get an Xbox. And that's something that like we joke about, but he would be like the case study of like what these publishers and platform holders want. This could be it. Like maybe people are playing Gears 1, or people on PlayStation playing Gears 1. They see it, they're playing this like, I want more. I don't want to wait for the rest. Let me just get an Xbox. I don't know.
The thing is, they don't even have to buy an Xbox if they want to play Gears. You got a LG TV or Samsung TV. All you need is Game Pass.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy a whole console, and that's the whole thing with this is an Xbox. You can literally play Xbox games wherever there is a screen, whether it's on the PC, on a laptop, on a ROG Ally, on a TV. You can play it on the new Fire Sticks. So it's like you can play these games wherever. You don't need to go buy a console, and that's the direction that Microsoft is going, so they can maximize their Game Pass subscriptions.
Exactly, and I think that's ultimately the goal. Maybe we don't see a Gears 2 and 3 remastered on PlayStation because they're already there. Like they're already on Game Pass. Like you got your first taste. Now you got to go get the rest. Like maybe that's the play. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah,
even if games do end up coming out, like they make a Gears of War collection, or even Gears Reloaded 2 or Gears Reloaded 3, that's so many years away. If people love Gears of Reloaded, maybe they'll just go get a Game Pass subscription.
Yeah,
it's the perfect avenue to just funnel people in who are new, and introduce this major franchise from Xbox onto PlayStation and say, hey, listen, you want to play the other ones? They're right here. Just get Game Pass.
exactly. So we'll see what happens with this, but overall, I think it's a good first step, and we'll see how things play out at launch. I do want to play more because the games I did play, like I was doing pretty good. There was a lot of talk about the whole crossplay thing with PC and how people were turning it off because they didn't want to play with PC, and PC gamers got pissed and whatever. Get used to it. Stop
People
crying.
are so strange.
Yeah, they definitely are.
But yeah, so overall that's all I've been playing.
That's crazy. While you're saying what I've been playing, we went through some of the news.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just continue right on because we have reports from Sumo Digital, which they created the Just Cause games. They developed the Just Cause games, and it turns out in leaked reports, Just Cause 5 has been quietly canceled because there was no official word from the studio. This is just based off profiles of vehicle feature team leads on the project saying that they quietly canceled the game. So it really sucks because Just Cause it's actually a really fun game, really big game for these studios and for them to just say they were going to develop the game and then to now canceling it. Listen, between these canceled games and closing of studios, we gotta get it together. Well, they gotta get it together.
They got to get it together. I mean, this is just inevitability. Like it sucks that we're talking about it like this. It's because like we become so desensitized to this stuff where game cancellations is just that's what it is. Like it's just the norm. And a lot of time, and honestly, I think it's just because a lot of times we never really hear about it. But
Yeah.
now we're starting to hear about it more. Whereas before there's probably been like not millions, but like thousands of canceled games that we just never heard of before. And we only hear about it until like after the fact. But now it seems like more and more recently that we're starting to hear about it as it gets canceled. And I mean, obviously it's a bad thing, but I think we're not meant to know this stuff. And I think we gotta keep that in mind too, that just because a game gets canceled doesn't mean it was that far along in development. So a cancellation might not seem like the best thing, but maybe it could be. Maybe like resources were being eaten up too much and it just wasn't poorly optimized. It doesn't mean the game is gonna be like it's never gonna release or like it's never gonna be eventually worked on, but for now it's canceled. Like they're just not working on it. Maybe they'll revive it later. It's happened before. So I don't know. It's it's a double-edged sword.
It is. It is. It just sucks to see a game like Just Cause. Their mainline games are so fun and so beloved by the community. It sucks to see it get canceled.
Yeah.
It does suck that they're going to get canceled, but I think if anything, Jeremy's right. But also, it does show how fast we live in the world where like news comes out like that. Because before it would be like, oh, like producer Jay said, I was like, we won't know a game's canceled till like mad late, and you're like, what happened to that game? But it does show where we are in times of news now,
That's
where like
true.
we'll find out a game is canceled within an hour of developers being like, yeah, we're no longer going to work this game for now. Especially because it's
Yeah.
a quiet cancel. It's just not being like, yeah, we're just not going to work on it for now. Like, we might come back to it later.
Yeah. I think again, it's just because of like the insiders they want to get their name out there, a lot of them. That's that's the best way to do it. And I've heard from like other like blog posters or like people who have like websites for gaming news is like that's what gets the most clicks. That and walkthroughs, which is why a lot of sites do walkthroughs because they get the clicks. So that's
that's
all
why
it is.
Twitch-
It's
I mean,
it's
that's
a
why
play to
Twitch is
get
so
clicks.
popular. So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go on. Let's move on to more canceled games or studios closing. So Days Gone Studio, Sony's Bend announces layoffs following live service cancellations. So this puts up into the air of what's going to happen with the rest of the studio, Bend Studio, because they laid off, I think it was like 40 people, and they canceled a live service game that, of course, we don't really know much about. They were developing for an unknown number of under days of time, and it's just gone now. And developers lost, yeah, it's 40 people. They say it's a 30% reduction in staff and canceling of their live service games. And if they say that they're committed to building the future of Bend Studios with other projects, so maybe they're just refocusing their attention to different projects. But it really sucks because the Days Gone developer, they could have made Days Gone 2,
Yeah.
but no, they outsourced the remaster for Days Gone and then canceled the game, and now people lost their jobs.
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about Sony's live service strategy and stuff like that. Like it's been a mess, like to say the least. And there's some people who at least one person I saw that they bring up how we really shouldn't be talking about like the behind the scenes cancellation. Like we got to talk about like what they've actually released and judge it based on that. So like if you want to talk like Concord was a flop, but Helldivers 2 was a success. Marathon may be a flop. Fair Games or maybe a success. Like, we don't know. So it's like kind of 50-50 at right now.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that it's causing a lot of like a ripple effect with studios that could, like you said, could have been working on other games. Like Ben Studios could have been working on Days Gone 2. Bungie could have been working on a Destiny 3 or maybe their other. I know they have another game in development. I forget what that project is called. Or the freaking I mean, granted, we know that Naughty Dog is working on Intergalactic, but maybe we could have seen Intergalactic release this year or last year if they didn't waste like 2 or 3 years on freaking The Last of Us factions. So it's like
No. Or The Last of Us remaster.
Or the remasters and stuff like that. They could have done more of them. We could have get part 2 remastered remake. But yeah, ultimately you got in normal circumstances, yes, we probably shouldn't judge it by like this by the behind the scenes stuff, but because it's causing issues for like the games that are being developed, we're not going to see a game from Ben Studios this generation now. We're going to have to wait till PS6 to see what they're working on, because they got 2 canceled games. They were their live service game and then this or whatever they were working on now. So yeah, it just sucks, and that's we kind of have to pay attention to this stuff. I know we were talking about just before about how we're not meant to know this stuff, but it's like we know it, so we have to take it into consideration.
Yeah, the information is out there. We're not gonna not know it. Just
we don't want to like shield our eyes and go la, 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 la. No, we gotta see it. We gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, and then obviously the layoffs, that's a shitty thing, and it's, I don't know. I'm really tired of talking about layoffs, and then you get people talking about, and including like the companies themselves, and this is not exclusive to Sony. Microsoft does it. I mean, I don't want to say oddly enough. We don't really hear it from Nintendo. I'm sure there are layoffs there too, but maybe not as much. What's that?
You know what?
There's layoffs in Nintendo. It's just most of them come out like in it's like other languages, or like just gets lost in like other stuff. Because Nintendo does keep their stuff on the hush very well.
They do. They do keep it on the hush, but also like they would rather like the top level executives. We've reported on it before. Well, they'll take a pay cut so they can save jobs. So they do it correctly.
Right. That's how it should be done. Instead of laying off people, just take a pay cut. Like, who cares? I can't buy another yacht. Who cares? Shut up. Anyway,
but collection. What do you mean?
But like, what gets me is that like all these companies will talk about like record profits and record revenue and all these like accolades that they're reaching and surpassing and stuff like that in their quarterly earnings review. But then you still have layoffs. It's like, so like, is it really a success? Like, we clearly see where it's coming from. You got that extra revenue by cutting off a studio or cutting off developers. Like, that's their paycheck that you're adding to your revenue. So like, is it really that much of a success? Like, no, you freaking fudged the numbers essentially. And I get it.
American
like it's capitalism. That's business. Whatever, but like, don't celebrate that. Like, that's what always gets me, and it always happens around the same time. Like, literally, Sony had their financial review or whatever, and they're talking about record-breaking profits and revenue, but then they have layoffs in their studios. And like I said, Microsoft is no innocent either. They do the same shit. So it's like, stop doing that.
Yeah, it really sucks to see these corporations that make billions, sometimes trillions of dollars, and yet they're over here laying off a developer. You know, it's like, we got record profits, and you know, we're making so much money, and then but we're gonna fire 50 people. We're gonna fire 1,000 people. You know, it's like, come on now.
Yeah,
We have
it's
to cancel
just it's so
2 studios.
Yeah, it really sucks. That's why when we talk about like unions in the video game industry and how they're winning against these big corporations, we need more of that to stop
yes,
this.
yes, we do, and I can't wait for. I mean, I don't want to say I can't wait for when. I mean, I don't even know if it's gonna happen. I hope for a day that this becomes like abnormal, where we can talk about like when there's an actual like studio closure or devs being released, like that's like, oh wow, like that haven't happened in a while. I don't think that's gonna happen though. That's wishful
We need to
thinking.
go back to that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Let's move on. We got let's say good news from Sony. Sony's Bungie's Marathon says already showing strong early engagement as the studio gets ready for release. Now, let me just say that they don't know and don't have an official date. They say it will release by March of 2026, so it could be anywhere before that. We don't know exactly when, but
Yeah.
their closed alpha tests all came back with positive stuff, and they're looking forward to releasing Marathon. And listen, it's a big, like I'm not sure about this game. I do hope it does well because I feel like if this game bombs the same way Concord bombed, it will be essentially the end of Bungie as it is today. I do hope it does good because at the end of the day, we're gamers and we want more games, and we don't want to cheer on the failure of a game. Uh, we will make fun of it, but we won't. We don't want to cheer it on and say we hope this game fails. No, we don't hope the game fails. We hope it does well, or we just hope that they can hit the mark.
Right. Yeah, no, I do. I'm a little iffy. I didn't get a chance to play it, obviously, but what I've seen is not. I mean, granted, it's not my thing. I'm not really into extraction shooters, but for Bungie's sake, I hope it's a success, like you said. But I don't know. It's really up in the air. I don't know because originally it's supposed to come out in September, right? And
Yeah.
now they're saying it's coming out fiscal year 2025, which can be up to March. So
Yeah.
Oh, up
we
to
don't
June,
know.
technically.
Up
Up to June. Because you
is
said
it June?
physical year. But
Maybe.
the physical year ends, especially for 2024, ends this month.
Okay, so then yeah, June. So before June, essentially. But that like it could be February, it could be March, May.
Yep.
We don't
Let's
know
hope
if it's gonna
that
get
with the
delayed. I'm assuming it's gonna get delayed just based off of the reactions and the whole scandal thing with the plagiarism and copyright stuff. Yeah, it's
To be
probably
fair,
best
I
for
would
them.
have bet. To be fair, I would have bet on a delay just on the sending of most games anyway.
True.
from most games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every time we hear
honestly,
it's like, oh, this game's coming out this, you'd be like, that's getting delayed.
you know
I
what?
already
You gotta you got a point. I feel like most games get delayed these days.
know. Yeah.
So
Don't say that because like I'm banking on GTA 6 still to come out.
it's gonna
It,
get delayed
it already
again.
got delayed. It already was delayed.
And it's gonna get delayed again. I'm telling you.
You stop
All right.
it.
All right. Producer Jerry just doesn't like it. Producer Jerry doesn't like you. But it was already delayed once. So technically the streak is still going. It already got delayed once.
Yeah.
And then on top of the announcement for Marathon, Sony did confirm that Marvel's Wolverine and Intergalactic won't launch this fiscal year. So the only games coming out this year for PlayStation that's been confirmed with release dates are Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2 on the beach. So Wolverine is further out again, and so is Intergalactic. They are now plans again to potentially hitting 2027. So either late 2026 or early 2027 for both Marvel's Wolverine and Intergalactic. which
What happened with Wolverine, man? Like,
Oof.
I know the leak
yeah,
happened,
the leak destroyed it.
but like, that was
Wasn't
what,
that
like,
game
we
supposed to
are.
come out too?
What's
Which
up?
one?
Wasn't that game supposed to come out, or am I tripping? Did I get canceled? Or am I forgetting? Hold on, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
We just started Heroes.
No, I mean, they really. I honestly believe the leak for Wolverine really destroyed any timeline they had because the whole video game was out
Essentially,
essentially.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
almost
remember that.
done. The whole exactly. People were playing it on Twitter. They were literally showing video of it. So I think that really grinded the whole production and
Yeah, because
until they can
they
fix
had to
everything.
like find the leak and find how
Yeah.
it got leaked and stuff like that. But still, like, that game was revealed in 2021.
Yeah. I mean, there are games that were revealed in 2020 that we still don't know about or haven't seen. So
Yeah, true. Well, yeah,
it's
where's
kind of
Contraband?
yeah, exactly. Where's Contraband? Where's Everwild? You
But
know?
still, those are I would
Forgot
say
about Contraband.
I
Wow.
would s- I would say those are like smaller scale games. Wolverine, that's like a tentpole game that you would want to like have sooner rather than later.
True.
And we're going on 5 years, and now it's gonna be 6 years at the very least.
I feel like the game was probably going to come out last year around holiday time, but you know, with the leak happening, it's just they had to stop everything. I
Yeah.
really think that they had to just put a pause on everything. So it's
That's just Wolverine, and we
yeah,
know there was supposed to like there was plans for a Spider-Man 3, a Venom spin-off, a X-Men game.
yeah.
Like, who knows when those are coming out? That's like PS7 we're talking about. Like,
PS7 is crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely games are farther out. I feel like with these games, Wolverine and Intergalactic should honestly be launch titles for the next PlayStation. You know,
I
stop worrying
honestly,
about they just have the Ghost of Yote and the Death Stranding 2 because those are coming out this year and just ride on the backs of, you know, their like according to their reports, their record profits, you know. So let's keep those for the next PlayStation.
yeah, I mean, it may be the best bet to do that, just so they could start the next generation with their best foot forward. Because I feel like they didn't do that last gen or this gen. Because we had to wait for like all the big games to come out. Like, yeah, we had some, but
I
yeah,
mean, they did
Gone for a
start
while.
strong. Yeah. Yeah, I
all right,
think
the first year was
yeah, they
okay.
started strong.
The launch was iffy. I feel like maybe
The
that's
launch of
just
the
me.
PS5.
Yeah, I think the only
Yeah.
game that was worth like playing was
Was
Miles
Spider-Man.
Morales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It started strong because you had Miles Morales, you know, then you get God of War Ragnarok,
Mhm.
right? And then
but
you
that's what I'm
get
saying. That was the next year. So
true, but still, like it still had, you know, it's not Xbox releases where they have like 12 games coming in the next 6 months, but it
yeah,
still started off pretty solid. But now it's gone to the point where it's like dead. It's all third party stuff, you know, for PlayStation,
yeah.
and with a sprinkle of Last of Us remastered in there. Um, so yeah, I feel like they need to start the PlayStation 6 strong with titles, like some really great games. And it would be absolutely awesome if they release Wolverine and Intergalactic, you know, in the years that they launched the PlayStation 6. Because we
That would
already know it's coming.
Yeah, that would be a pretty good thing like to have right at the launch. It could
Yeah.
even be a cross-gen title, obviously, but having it at launch for the PS6, that's you want that.
Yeah, you definitely want that. Definitely want that. And of course, it's going to be a cross gen. They're not going to just abandon the
Yeah,
PS5.
yeah.
Well, I say that in hopes that they don't.
I don't think they will. I don't think they can at
Uh,
this point.
I think we're in for a while for this one.
Which is
Not bad
fine.
against it, but
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. All right, let's continue on. We have some news from GameStop from their CEO, Ryan Cohen. Um GameStop is leaning heavily into trading cards as part of its future strategy, and he says the company's future isn't in games; it's in trading cards.
So they're
They
gonna
just
call it Card Stop? Like,
card stop. They're gonna call it Pokemon Stop because it's being heavily pushed onto GameStop for Pokemon cards. Also, they just brought again. Like, I think we reported on this a couple weeks ago, where they brought like a bunch of Bitcoin. So they're really driving toward this digital market and
honestly,
cards market.
yeah, honestly, the way I see it, the whole, like, when 2020 and COVID happened, like, the stock stuff with, like, holding and buying up the GameStop stock, like, I think that was kind of like a wake up call for them. It's just like, if this didn't happen, if this meme didn't come into fruition, we would have been dead. So I think they're trying to get out of games quick because they see the writing on the wall. People and physical discs they're not as
They're not
popular
as
anymore.
yeah, yeah. They've been, especially because other consoles will be like, "Yo, just buy it from our store anyway." And then
Yeah,
Nintendo's like, "You're just buying the license, not the game itself
I was
anymore."
I was just about to say when Nintendo is even telling you, yeah, like get the digital, like you're getting the digital version. Like when Nintendo's doing it, that's when you know like shit is fucked. So, I mean, I've been all digital since like 2015, so I'm good. I don't care. But yeah, the physical game stuff, and then now they were heavily like focusing on like Funko Pops and merch and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
definitely into the collectibles.
Yeah, which I mean, okay, but they already had a
Collector
separate
stuff.
store for that. Yeah, but no, but collector stuff. No,
Yeah,
it was
what was the other store? It's
it
like
was it was called like Geek.
Geek something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Geek
Because they had
Stop?
a store in the,
no,
no, not Geek Stop.
it was like Geek Inc. or something like that. Hold on.
Isn't that part of Best
No, that's Geek Squad.
Is it Think Geek?
uh,
I don't know. I'm
Super Geek?
yes. Think Geek. That's what it was. So it's basically, yeah, Think Geek is just GameStop without games at all. And I think that's what GameStop is becoming. So I think maybe they're just gonna like move to that.
Yeah, I mean they're focusing heavy with trading cards and not just Pokemon, because Pokemon is definitely up there, but they now have a partnership with PSA for grading cards, so they're really like pushing trading cards because they see the money. You know, they of
Yeah.
course they buy Pokemon cards and then
Right.
they sell it for a profit, obviously because prices
know.
are sky high now for Pokemon cards. I know
Well,
I spend a lot on Pokemon cards.
that's why their future's in there. The resurgence of Pokemon cards has been wild this last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean these last two sets alone, the prices were like I think 100% higher than the other sets. It's been ridiculous.
Honestly, I don't get it. Like I get the whole collectible things, but it's like why is it going for like astronomical numbers?
Because you wanna know why? Because we're now full grown adults with adult money with kid brains.
We have adult money.
We always wanted trading cards. I guarantee you, if this keeps going, it's gonna make it in 2 years. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah,
Ah,
definitely is. I
I
mean,
still don't get it though.
he's not wrong. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of information. During the pandemic, right? I wasn't working a lot, but I also did not get any of the extra unemployments that other people got. I still spent like all those PPP loans and all that stuff. I
Mhm.
still spent over $4,000 on Pokemon cards.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, during the pandemic. So,
All right, but
like,
is it just to collect or is it just to flip to get more money
so
off of it?
for me, I collect. I don't buy so that way I can. Oh yeah, I got a $10,000 PSA card. Who cares? I collect. It's for me. So yes, I have over $4,000 or more because I have some pretty good cards
I was
in
gonna
my
say,
collection.
as someone who also started buying Pokemon cards again, nothing to do with money. The designs are so much better than what they used to be.
Yes, absolutely.
It's so pretty now that you're like, I kind of want it again.
Yes, they're absolutely
I
amazing. The artwork for all the new sets are so
it's
high
lovely.
quality and high tier. You just need it.
And then also because of like training car simulator and all the mods that were added to that, if you have a PC game, how popular that became, that's kind of the other reason why it's less right. Especially like
Yes,
Producer J, there's like a new Umbreon. I know like the market value is high, but it's so pretty.
So
yes.
pretty.
Actually, while we're on the topic of Pokemon cards, my wife pulled a God Pack for the Umbreon. She got all of the EVs, the Umbreon, the Sylveon, the Glaceon, all of them. She's got all of them in a God Pack. She was absolutely fantastic. We were overjoyed. Those cards are so awesome looking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
just
I mean,
take a picture and send it to us. I would love this. Send it to me. I want to see it.
got the video. I'll share the video in the group chat so you can see when she pulled it. I mean, they're fantastic.
I know they are. I know they are.
Yeah. That's where we're going, you know? And companies like this, although GameStop is a game store, they have to pivot to make money because if not,
Yeah.
they're just gonna die.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the balancing act of having a business. You have to pivot the same way like you have corporations like that do internet are now doing mobile, or that mobile companies are now doing internet. You know, you gotta pivot to where the money's at.
I suppose. I don't get the Pokemon stuff. Like, I don't know. I will never understand.
Watch
Like,
your mouth.
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
no. I'm not shitting on it. For those who like it, like you and everybody else that get like is into that stuff, more power to you. I
Yeah.
just don't get it.
Yeah, I love it. You know, the artwork is amazing.
Did you collect cards to begin with? Like, were you a trading card person when you were growing up?
I mean, I collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but it was to duel, not to just collect.
Yeah, see, that's
It was
why
the duel.
you were playing
You hear
games. Other
this
people,
guy?
I
He's
used
calling,
them.
he's
I was
calling
doing
us
it.
out. He was over here dueling. We're
I was,
collecting.
but I wasn't collecting. Like I was sending people to the Shadow Realm. Like
this man over here playing, and he was over here playing in tournaments. We was over here looking at pretty stuff. See, this is why you don't understand. That's why you don't understand.
Yeah,
You
no,
over
I
here
mean
really geek it out. That's the problem.
it's crazy because I collected when I was younger. I didn't really play Pokemon. You know, I didn't play it. I collected. I had a big yellow Pikachu binder, and I had collected a whole bunch of Pokemon cards. I never played it though. I just loved the artwork and I love Pokemon.
Yeah,
So
I still am forgiving my brother for losing my Charizard, so it's all smoke for real.
where is he at? I want to fight him right now. Let's go. We'll do it together.
jump them.
Yeah, like because like it's a pastime for us that we love. We love to see the artwork, love to collect, get that dopamine when we open up a pack and it has a amazing looking card in there. You know, one of the full arts or secret rares. So I
That's all.
see. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I see
We
why
may have lost part of
GameStop.
this episode. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you know what? We'll just start putting out some Pokemon shorts. Yeah, like and I see why they are getting into the business, why they're heavily invested in trading cards and PSA and Bitcoin. They gotta make money somehow, and if the physical games aren't doing it for them, they gotta go with this way.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, where like you said, wherever it makes the money, and yeah, it's just weird to think that GameStop is gonna go away.
I mean, is it
Yeah,
really going
like
away, or is
GameStop.
it's just
I think
random?
they just. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it stays GameStop. I think they're gonna call it something else.
What could they
They might
call it?
they might still sell games, but that's not gonna be the main focus. Why are you gonna still call it GameStop?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they leave it GameStop because everybody knows this GameStop. Why rebrand it to something new? You know, and lose what you have. You know that brand recognition because people know GameStop. You know.
Yeah,
They
true.
see the logo and they know that's GameStop, you know?
But I think GameStop has just become a meme recently. So
True.
I mean, nothing
It
wrong
goes
with
both ways.
being a meme. It still sells you stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's certain like if it was a dangerous meme, it'd be a problem, but it's just a meme. So it's just like, oh yeah, that's why I go like to get stuff, like and to buy other things. Like it's fine.
Oh, the meme is negative because like now like people talk about like the GameStop employees and how they're not stupid, but like they take
No,
their
they
job too
smell.
seriously or that.
Yeah, that I know for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with the potential rebrand and or just anything that comes out of GameStop, or if it changes how we see it today.
Right.
It'll be definitely interesting to see.
Yes.
Okay, let's move along. We have a lot to get through still.
Yes, we do.
So as you know, subscription prices go up. It's inevitable. A lot of subscriptions go up almost seems yearly now. Netflix used to be like $7 a month. It's now like $25 a month for the highest tiers. Disney Plus came out, it was like $7, and now it's like 15. It's ridiculous. Prices always go up. And in a line of code that they found, it appears to mention that Xbox subscription price will increase for Game Pass. It doesn't say an official price. Obviously, this is just a code. Who knows? It could be an AI picture we're just reporting on. It could be completely fake.
Could be.
But I think what Xbox and Game Pass may do is sort of rebrand a little bit, keep PC Game Pass. Maybe they raise that to 15, Game Pass Ultimate to 25, and get rid of the standard, or not standard, the core, the cheapest one, and just
Yeah.
have standard PC and Ultimate, because nobody needs the very lowest one. It's like absolutely ridiculous. Get rid
Yeah.
of paying for online and just bundle it all together, you know?
Yeah. I think ultimately it's probably gonna be they'll probably add a tier. I know it has a lot of tiers right now, and it
Yeah.
kind of is a little confusing on what offers what. But I know they've been talking about for a while about adding a cloud tier, where it's just cloud gaming. So that way people who just need, because right now, if like we were talking about before about getting, you use your LG TV or your phone or anything like that, like a Fire Stick that you can get Game Pass, but in order to get that, you have to get the ultimate version. You have to get Game Pass Ultimate in order to utilize all that stuff. So now I think with everything, with their whole "this is an Xbox man" campaign, and they want more people to have access to these games, I think it makes more sense to add a cloud tier only, so that way for people who just want to play through the cloud, they have their subscription. Maybe it is $5, or I don't know. Maybe it's ad supported. I don't know how that would work. I remember they were talking about that, but
Oh man.
um, I mean,
No, not ads.
no, I trust me, I'm not for that at all.
Swear
But
to God.
I'm also not the one who would buy it, so or who would use it. Because I mean, granted, like think about it. If you want people to have access to your games, what better way to do that than to just make it free? Like if it's just an app on the TV that you can click on and then you can subscribe to for free, like that's the best, right? But the only way to support that is with ads. So like maybe while it's loading up your stream, you can watch like a 30-second ad or a minute ad. Like I mean that's how long it's going to take up to load up anyway. Why not? Cuz I've used cloud gaming and it takes about like 30 seconds to a minute to load up. So maybe you do that, and if you want to subscribe, you can get rid of the ads, obviously. So I think they're discussing that, but that I feel like that's the main thing, or the only thing that makes sense. Because why would you raise prices on the subscribers you're already making? Just add a new tier and get more subscribers.
I mean, I think eventually the price will go up.
I
You
mean,
know,
eventually it's gonna go up, but I think it's a little too soon. I think didn't they just raise it like last year?
they raised it to $20 from, I think it was like $16.99 to $20.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's gonna go up. Everything else is going up. Game prices are now $80, apparently, you know? Things are just gonna go up. That's the way the subscription model is built. We saw with every subscription service that came out, like I said earlier, Netflix, Disney Plus,
Yeah.
Hulu, they're all partnering up together now. Everything's raising in prices. I think it was
Mm.
HBO Max that was $10.99, now it's $16.99. So eventually
Prices
it
are
will
going up
go up.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we just got to prepare ourselves now for it. I still think even at, let's say it goes to $25 a month, I still think it would be the best deal in gaming for Ultimate. At least in particular for me, I have a PC, I have a console, I can game share with it, so my wife also gets the ability
Yeah.
to use it. So for me, it's still the best deal of gaming. I mean, I get day one games, I get PC games, I have the cloud if I want to play it on my phone at work. Either way, it's still the best deal in gaming, even at $25. I'm not gonna be happy about it, but what can I do? I'm just one little pea in the massive sea of gamers.
Yeah.
I'm a
I do
pea.
agree. What? um yeah, no, I do agree that we will see a price increase, and it's like it's one of those things that just people just eat up. It's like they complain about it. It's like with the Netflix stuff, like they complained about the Netflix price hikes, but the people are still subscribing. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
there's some.
they have way more subscribers now than they ever did, and it went up anyway. So
Yeah, so
what can you do?
we got to remember too that Twitter is a bubble. It is not representative of the mass, uh, like audience of anything, and we got to see what happens after the stuff happens. So like, if they do raise prices and then like subscriber numbers go down, then obviously like they're gonna change course. But if they don't and they stay, if they at least stay the same, then it's just like, okay, so then it was a success. So it's like we got to stop paying attention to the people that are complaining, although I will be one of them. I know I sound like I'm my own worst enemy. I'm telling me don't listen to me. But unless we can get a bunch of people complaining at once, it's not going to do anything. And that's why like we need to be more like vigilant about like, or not vigilant, like vocal about like our displeasure with stuff. But at the end of the day, like you said, we're just one person, and we're just a group of people that are arguing online with a bunch of bots. So it's really like, what are we really doing here? It's either do what's best for you, or shut up. It's like, I don't know. It's not an easy way to go about this, but there's no easy way to go about this. But we'll see what happens, and we'll see what this if it even happens. Like we don't even know. This is just a line of code that was found, and it could mean nothing.
Very
Yeah, it
true.
could mean nothing. Yeah, we'll see. Let's get on to this. So we got all the major news. We're gonna start with before we get into the showcases and what was revealed both at Summer Games Fest and the Xbox showcase. Let's talk about the big hardware reveal that they did at the Xbox showcase, which was the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X. That is a mouthful.
Yes, very much is.
So they
Some
revealed
people
a
online don't think so.
no, they don't. They're a little salty on that one, but it's fine. The ROG Xbox Ally X was revealed at the showcase, and it is a partnership. Is the collaboration with Asus and Xbox, where they say you can get the freedom, the power of the Xbox with the freedom of Windows. And they showcased it. It had the little Xbox button. They showcased the actual handheld, and looks like an Xbox controller with um big screen on it, and you can load up not just your in like what they call like big picture mode. It's like their own version of Xbox, their PC version of it, where you can load up Xbox titles. You can also load up Steam because it's a Windows thing. You can load up Epic Games, so you'll be able to actually play PlayStation games on this little system. And all their Xbox Play Anywhere games, as well as playing your Game Pass games and cloud games. It's gonna be a very interesting piece of hardware. I think what really for me will hit the mark was to see where the pricing is. We don't got any information on pricing. I feel like the Xbox Ally X will be obviously the most expensive. It really just depends on how they deliver this handheld and this experience. So to see if we're gonna, like, me personally will buy it. I'm not sure. I'm still on the fence. Um,
Um,
but it does look really cool.
yeah. So I remember when the images leaked.
Yeah.
About this thing, and we both talked about it. It looked ugly, and I was a little disappointed that those leaks ended up being real. That it does have the shape that it looks like a controller with a big screen. It's not as bad as the PlayStation Portal, where it's literally just a PlayStation controller with a screen in front in the middle of it.
Yeah.
What they made it so, like, I don't know, maybe it was just because it was an unfinished model that it looked really like it just looked ugly. But when they showcased it in the trailer and stuff like that, and I watched videos afterwards describing it and going over it, it doesn't look that bad. Like, obviously, I would have preferred not to have the two handles sticking out like that, but I'm aware that it's mostly because, like, they want it to feel comfortable to hold, and I'm sure it does, based on what the videos I've seen, that they said it feels very comfortable to hold. So it's more of a form over function, I guess, or function over form. I don't know. It looks ugly still, but it probably feels like the best to hold, you know?
You're
But
in this fucking whole business. You just want to hug? What's going on?
no, I mean, I might if once we hear about the price, because that's the main thing that we're gonna wait on, because that's gonna be the main determining factor on if this thing is a success or not. Because as of right now, it seems, and there was leaks talking about the price that supposedly is gonna be like, for the base model, the white version is gonna be $700, and then for the X version is gonna be $900. Ooh, yeah. Uh,
That's rough.
There's a leak. We don't know. It could
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
But yeah, if that's the case, then oh man. See, coming from me, I own an ROG Ally, and they did say that the software that this runs on will be available on other handheld devices later after the fact, like in 2026. We don't know when, but sometime in 2026. So this is like kind of like a timed exclusive thing
Yeah.
where the OS is exclusive to this device for a certain amount of time. But the main thing is too, the upgrade from the current devices available right now is pretty significant.
Yeah.
So I'm torn because I just bought this freaking thing, or it feels like I just bought it. I have it for like a year and a half.
Maybe you could trade it in.
I
Probably.
mean, I'm sure there's trading programs, or maybe they will offer a trading program.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see, because I don't know how much I would even get for that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the real thing, though, the real determining factor will be the price, and I don't see this being a cheap device.
No.
But
At least the ROG Xbox Ally
yeah,
X,
the
big
X,
one, is going to be more because it has 24 gigabytes of RAM, which
yeah,
is crazy for a handheld.
yes,
You know,
that is very crazy.
that's more than some people's actual PCs. So
Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely gonna be. It's not gonna be cheap, and I think a lot of people are trying to like downplay that. Oh, this is not gonna be a success and stuff. But this device is not meant to compete with like the Switch 2, for example. This is not meant for the casual gamer. This is just an option. Like the casual gamer, if Xbox is trying to market towards the casual gamer, they want them to go through the cloud. They want them to go through their TV, their Fire Stick, their phone, stuff that they
Series
already
S.
have, or Series
Mhm.
X or S. I'm sorry. Yeah, they want them to go through stuff that they already have or something that's cheaper, that's a cheaper entry. This is a premium device for enthusiasts. So same way like PS5 Pro, you don't need a PS5 Pro. Let's be honest. You don't need a PS5 Pro. But if you want the extra performance on some games, then you can get it. It's available to you. Same thing with the Xbox Elite controller. There's literally no functional difference from a regular Xbox controller and Elite controller. The only difference is that you get a little bit of extra buttons so you can map to give you a little bit of edge in terms of like how you're able to perform actions in a game or stuff like that. Also, it feels heavier, which some people prefer, which I know I do.
I do too.
And then the grips also help. It's like it's more of like quality of life features. And I
Yeah.
think that's what this is also. It's a quality of life device where you don't need it, but it could make things a lot easier for you. And it'll make things more seamless and streamlined. And yeah, because like everything that you can do on this device, technically I can do right now on my ROG Ally. But because the OS is exclusive to it, that's a quality of life thing. And it
Yeah.
also has a better battery, which I mean, honestly, like that alone is is a bigger selling point to me. But yeah, so I don't know like how this device is gonna do, and I don't know how the public, like the mass market, is gonna take it. But considering, I mean, we've seen interviews with Phil Spencer where he said he was actually surprised at how many people actually want the Xbox Elite controller, and then that's partially why they did the whole customization for it, and that's why they make more controllers. Is that people want like the premium feel to things, and that's what this device feels like. It feels like a premium experience for like on the go gamers like myself. But we'll still have to see how things play out with in terms of pricing and performance. We still don't, I mean, I know they've done tests and people have played games on it and they say it runs well, but we really have to see it in action, because the thing is with this device and the OS is that it's supposed to optimize the device itself, because it is Windows, but it basically shuts off all the unnecessary processes that aren't for gaming.
It's
So
great.
that does sound very good, and I wish we could do that now. But yeah, so that alone might help with performance issues, because now you don't have to run on stuff in the background, like unnecessary things in the background, and obviously also having access, a streamlined access to like Steam games and Epic Game Store and all that stuff. That's also a benefit. And then there was also news about like I don't know if we were gonna get to it later, but the official Xbox handheld was
Yeah.
supposedly canceled and stuff like that, or put on the back burner. Like, we don't know for sure. I do think that decision was made because they want to make sure that this launches successfully, and then depending on how this does on the market, that will determine what happens with that device, because they're two separate devices. But
Yes.
I think this is a glimpse on what Xbox plans for the future of the platform, and this kind of needs to be a success, because if it's not, then Xbox's future is kind of up in the air right now.
Well, for handhelds.
For handhelds, yes, we do. They
Yeah.
are full, gung ho on like next gen hardware, like the successor to the Series X.
Yeah.
They're still gonna do that regardless. But in terms of the handheld stuff, we will see what happens with this to determine if there is a handheld future for Xbox.
Yeah. I yeah, like you said, definitely up in the air for the handhelds. and for Xbox's own proprietary handheld, this it really banks on this being a smash hit win.
Yes, and I think it will be a success in. I don't want to like say it's gonna be like a huge success because we just don't know. It really depends on the marketing and availability because the original ROG Ally, it was like you can only buy it in Best Buy and like Amazon. That's it. But I think like once like if you have Xbox involved, maybe you can get it into more stores, and that's gonna be the major difference. In terms of like the retail presence.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into the last bit of news. We want to talk about both the showcases, the Summer Games Fest and the Xbox Game Showcase, which just happened to happen this past weekend, and it is let's just get right into it. Talking about not we won't go over every game. But let's talk about what we believe is what was how did we feel about each showcase, and then what we're most excited about for like maybe one or two games per showcase. So let's I guess you got the floor first, producer Jay.
Yeah. So the Summer Games Fest. Are we talking about the PlayStation Showcase?
You talking about the state of
The,
ass? I mean play.
the state of
Sorry.
play. Yes, the state of play. I
we
mean,
can. We can mix
I'll
it in
talk about
there.
that briefly because that was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
It was, I will say it was one of the better state of plays that they've put out over the past few years. It's
Bar is
still
low.
the bar is very low. We don't we don't have much to look forward to when it comes to these things, and everybody talks about how this is it, we're gonna hear about everything, and then we don't hear about nothing. I will say though, it was better. That's not. I mean, it's a compliment, but it's not a high bar to reach. It's been the best one that they've had recently. Not outside of the stuff that we already knew about, like for instance, like the like Ghost of Yotoi, obviously they didn't really show much of that. And for me personally, Metal Gear Solid, that I mean, I'm already hyped for that game, but they already actually had another Konami press conference, which they went into a whole like thing where they talk about a new online mode that they're doing. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna go into that because I could go a whole podcast over that. But I'm very excited for that game. I can't wait for it to come out. But outside of those two things, for me personally, like it was just a regular show. Like it wasn't anything special. It was cool to see the Marvel what was it called? Marvel Token Souls or something like that. The fighting game that they're doing,
Yeah,
I guess.
partnership that they're doing that's
Yeah,
not Capcom.
yeah, I know. I was like, they freaking ditched Capcom. They're like, yo, you're taking too long for Marvel versus Capcom 4. So we're gonna do it ourselves. But yeah, I mean, seeing that is pretty cool. I like that they're doing something like that, and it has Arc System Works, which is the makers of Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball Fighter Z. So it should be a cool game for like the fighting community, and it's also launching on PC. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, overall it was an okay show. I mean I wouldn't say it's bad. It was okay. As far as the Summer Games Fest, I thought they had a lot of interesting things to show, but the main thing that I'm starting to realize why I have such an issue with the Summer Games Fest, it's too freaking long. We don't need 3 hours of just nonstop trailers. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't 3 hours, but it felt like 3 hours. Like I was listening to it, like because I was at work at the time, and I was trying to listen to it, and then I was like pulling up if I heard something interesting or anything like that once the trailer came out. Yeah, it's just way too long. Like they need to condense that thing into like an hour and a half because there's no need. We don't need to know about every freaking game coming out. Like they can do their own trailers. Like I'm sure the developers like the indie developer, because it was mostly indie devs, let's be honest. The indie developers appreciate being able to be on a big stage like that, but when they're being smushed together with other indie games, it just becomes like, okay, these are just a bunch of indie games that I'm gonna forget about afterwards. Like if you're gonna if you're gonna showcase indie games, you want them to stand out. You don't want to bunch them together and then be like, all right, that was cool, and then like you forget that it even happened. Um, there were some standouts. Um, the Mortal Shell 2 actually was one of the standouts for me. Also, Atomic Heart 2, which I wasn't expecting so soon.
Yeah,
Because that game
yeah,
came out
definitely.
like last year or something like that, right?
Yeah, it came out no like 2 years ago.
Really? Damn, time flies.
Yeah, time
But
does fly.
still, I wasn't expecting to hear something from that
And
game.
they had more than just one type of game. They had the Cube,
Yeah, the
which was
Cube.
set
That
in the Atomic Heart world.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
like a MMO type game, which is interesting.
yeah, yeah. They've been busy.
Obviously, what's that?
I said they've been busy.
Yeah, they have been busy. I can't remember everything off the top of my head. I'm just remembering like what stood out to me.
Yeah.
Obviously the main headliner was Resident Evil Requiem
Yep.
Requiem.
or Resident Evil 9. That
Resident Evil 9
they
at this point.
teased it. They teased it because they had the creative director talking about what was it? It's the 25th anniversary or the 30th anniversary
It was the
of
30th.
Resident Evil. Yeah, it was
It's the
one of
30th. It's
those.
the 30th of. It's 30th. I think of Resident Evil or just Capcom itself. But he did
I'm
say
pretty
you have to
sure.
wait a few more minutes.
Yeah, he said
So you gotta.
sit tight and just wait. And so they did this multiple times because they had the voice actor for what's her name? Lady I can't
Oh,
remember because I never
yeah, I
you
know who
know
you're talking
yeah,
about.
it starts with
Yeah,
a D.
I can't get the name.
Yeah, that one. You know what I'm talking about from
Demetrius.
Resident. Yeah, from
Demetrius.
Resident Evil Village. Because obviously she was like a standout for that game. For obvious reasons.
For the horny men in the corner. What that tall lady do?
But yeah, so she was there like doing videos and promo for it. So they did like multiple videos like that, and
Yeah, because they were promoting like the Capcom sale and stuff like that.
yes. So then the creative director said you gotta wait a little bit. They're working on it and stuff like that. And then at the end they were just like, actually, here it is. So Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9, was announced, and honestly, like I'm really interested in it. I've always been interested in like Resident Evil games, but like I'm more interested in the non-traditional ones, if that makes any sense. Like Resident Evil 8, 7, like those are the ones that I'm just like, okay, what is this gonna be about? And 9 seems to continue that trend where it's a new protagonist, it's a new story, stuff like that. I'm sure it ties into everything, like with Leon and Chris and all the characters you know. But
That's the best part where they just show up randomly.
yeah, and it's funny because when they first start the trailer, I was like, okay, what is this? What is this? But then I don't know if maybe it's just me. I can tell like what engine it's running on, and I was just like, oh, this is Resident Evil. I could just tell, like the way they were like moving and the dialogue and stuff. Like this is Resident Evil, and then lo and behold, that's exactly what it was. So, yeah, and then supposedly like more information came out that they're gonna release a demo similar to how they did for the previous games, and apparently you can play in first person and third person, which is
Yes.
a first for the series. Because I know in 8 they let you in an update they let you play in third person, but now from the jump you're able to play in both both first and third. So that's gonna be interesting and how like that plays into like the gameplay and stuff like that. Because usually like with Resident Evil 7, like that game was made to be played in first person. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. That was again I said the highlight of the show. Overall, I would give the Summer Game Fest probably like maybe a 6, because again it was way too long. If it was shorter, I probably could have given it a higher score. But because it's so long and it's filled in between with like fluff and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the highest I can give it is a 6, which is, I mean, it's not the worst, but yeah.
And you're harsh.
I mean, listen, I base the stuff off of how much I care about it, and a lot of the games I didn't really care about. So
I get that.
I
hear
mean,
you.
not to say that they had bad games on there. It's just like, I mean, how many anime games can I get excited for? Like realistically.
Oh, whoa, calm down. Can't piss off the anime community.
And then going to the Xbox showcase, which I mean, they always do the whole thing afterward, like or beforehand, where they temper expectations, don't expect everything and stuff like that. But they've done it for every showcase in the past like 3 years, so it's like I can't really believe them at that point. Um, this year was the year to do that because I don't think this was the best showcase. I mean, it wasn't the best Xbox showcase. It was the best showcase of all the showcase this week or
Yeah.
last week.
Of Summer Games Fest like festival, like the
Yeah, of
E3
all the
sort of
summer
thing.
showcases, this was the best one, but that's not saying much, I guess. There was some things that they showed off. I do like that they showed off they were pushing heavily on the Play Anywhere stuff because that's something that they started a while ago, like maybe like 4 years ago or something like that, where they wanted every purchase to be like cross-platform, but obviously not every actually no, they probably started earlier than that. Anyway, they wanted to, every purchase to become like you can get it one on the console and one on the PC. But obviously publishers weren't like down with that because they want people to buy things twice. But I'm glad that more publishers are starting to get on board with it. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%, but if they make the push, then people will adopt it. So I do like that. What they showed it was okay. There wasn't anything that really stood out to me in terms of like, oh, I need to get that. Yeah, and then what got me the most was Black Ops 7, which
Really?
I'm not to say that was like, oh, that looked great. Like it got me. Like if you look at, because I did live stream the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was what was it? I thought it was Quantum Break because
Yeah, I did
everything.
too.
Yeah, I thought, and I was like, what is this? It looks so different than what I was like expecting, I guess, from a Call of Duty game, that I was just like, there's no way, like this is a different game. Like, and then when they said Black Ops 7, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think that should have been like the one more thing, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can watch like my live reaction to see everything. But overall, I do appreciate that everything that was shown was Play Anywhere. And I mean, obviously not everything was on Game Pass. I think last year they did that where everything that was shown was on Game Pass. But yeah, it's cool to see like Final Fantasy.
It was mostly everything was on Game Pass. I think like 85% of the games they showed were gonna be on Game Pass.
Yeah, it was.
But
I
at
mean, it
least
was
100% was gonna be Play Anywhere.
yeah, it was a good chunk that was gonna be on Game Pass. It's good to see like the Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Final Fantasy 15 finally getting on Xbox, and the Shadow dropped of 15 was. So yeah. So overall, I would probably give it maybe like a 7, just because like while there was nothing that really like spoke to me, it was just like, oh, I gotta play that. They're all like, most of it, like we said, was on Game Pass. So it's like, okay, so I'll try it. I can try for myself. And that's the best thing about Game Pass. It's like I don't have to rely on trailers. I don't have to rely on waiting for reviews and stuff like that. I can play it for myself and decide if it's something that I want to play. So yeah. So overall, I would give it probably like a 7. It was still a good show. It just wasn't anything crazy. But that being said, next year, because I think Phil Spencer, I mean, I don't think he did say, he alluded to Gears E-Day, Fable, and even hinted at Halo and Forza being something that's gonna have announcements next year. That's like the big four, right? I mean, big three, but big four with Fable in there. That's a huge show that they're gonna have. To finally show off all that stuff. And I mean, maybe we'll see the Halo 1 remake. And then obviously Gears E-Day. And that was one thing that when we were playing Gears 5, I was like, yo, playing this, I was like, I cannot wait for Gears E-Day, because if they can just take this and just make it better, like, ooh boy. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the showcases. It wasn't the craziest year, but it was pretty good. I would say it's better than previous years, I will say, overall.
Let's say, do you have any words on the showcases? No?
Brother say?
I
What'd you say?
want that. Mouse of Private Eye. I've waited years for this fucking game.
That
I want it.
also, yes, that also stood out to me. I forgot about that game. But again, this goes
That's
to
the only
show,
thing I
like,
cared about.
that got lost in the shuffle because freaking Summer Games Fest was so freaking long. Like,
Yeah.
that's why you gotta have a more condensed showcase, because I forget about these games. Yeah, that game looks really fun, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'll go quickly over both showcases. We're not going to talk about PlayStation. I think obviously Resident Evil Requiem was a big drop for the Summer Games Fest, as well as they showed games that are interested in, like I for the life of me, I'm not going to be able to say it correctly. Invest in infinite moles. I don't know. It's like you're a little ant alien on a planet where everything's like really big, but you're like going around. It's like, it's crazy. It looked absolutely insane. It was like something I've never seen before. I was very interested in that. Also, I was very interested in they have here. I was at first interested in Mind's Eye, but we all already know how that happened. That was released this past weekend after the
That game
showcase.
is a scam.
And yeah, I feel like it was a
That game is a
scam.
Ponzi scheme.
I'm glad that I was able to wait on that one, and I, missed dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for Summer Games Fest. I gave it the show a solid 7.
Okay.
For the Summer Game Fest. I was like, all right, it wasn't bad. I was interested in a few games here or there. And it's always nice as a gamer to see what games are coming and what people are working on, and to see all these big, trailers and stuff. So it was good. Also, we can never forget the Onimusha Way of the Sword had a trailer from Capcom that was fantastic to see. It's coming out everywhere in next year.
I forgot to mention for the Xbox showcase, Outer Worlds 2 looks crazy good.
Absolutely.
Way better than I thought it was gonna look. Because as a big fan of Outer Worlds 1, like, I was kind of hesitant, because initially I thought, like, okay, what can they add to this? And basically they're adding everything that I wanted to this. So it's definitely a game that I'm looking forward to. Outer Worlds 2, that showcase or direct afterwards, that was great.
It was. It really showcased what the evolution of from the first game to the second one. I'm so glad. I absolutely loved and adored the first one, so I can't wait to jump into that one. But for me, the Xbox Showcase, they showed so many games, and there was a few that really stuck out to me. There was this one called Mundane Two Hearts, and people were calling it like the Korean Siphon Filter. It was like, yo, this
Yes,
game was crazy.
I do remember that. Yes, that came out of nowhere. I was like, yo, this is okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that game looked fantastic. And this other one called Aphelion, it's like a space adventure one where it's from the creators of Jusant. It's like a sci-fi space one. It looked good. I'm a sucker for anything like
for
that gives me like
don't nod. Yeah, that like
yeah
solo thing or whatever, where you're by yourself.
Yeah, yeah. You crash into your spaceship and stuff. You gotta kind of survive. Those type of like space adventures always get me. I love them. So that one, as well as something out of left field from Game Freak, Beasts of Reincarnation, which looked like Pokemon meets Monster Hunters. It looked fantastic.
Yes.
I want to get and play that super bad. And the Blood of Dawnwalker looked really good. It's like the vampire game. They showed a lot. I really interested in Renaissance, A Plague's Tale Legacy.
Oh
And of
yes,
course,
You know why I forgot about that game? Because it was leaked the day before
yeah,
by
you
the
spoiled it.
developers. They spoiled it themselves. They put an ad out on social media,
You
and
spoiled it for me. I was like, no.
I just saw it. I thought they announced it. I was like, why would you announce it like right before the showcase? Like what?
Yeah. Yeah. So also High on Life 2, I really enjoyed High on Life 2. High on Life, the first one. So High on Life 2 is up there on my list. Overall, I give the Xbox Showcase an 8. And give it an 8. I saw a lot of games on there that I was very interested in, more so than the Summer Game Fest. So I gave it an 8. They have some games on there that I didn't really care about, but overall I really enjoyed the showcase and see more of Outer Worlds 2. I did not care about Black Ops 7 at all.
Really?
Yes, I was like, what is this? Oh, Black Ops 7? Whatever. So that was surprising for me because I play Call of Duty all the time. But
Wow,
also
we're like
Persona
opposites.
4.
I
I
don't
know
play
we're so
Call of Duty like
opposite.
that, and I was excited. Not excited, but I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. And Persona 4 Revival was announced coming to Game Pass Day 1. So that's also really cool from Atlas. So yeah, I gave it an 8. I had a better showcase than Summer Game Fest, and overall better showcase in general for the summer showcases.
I mean, yeah, that's been the case for the past few years anyway. So
Definitely. And that's my takes on the Summer Games Fest showcase E3.
yeah, it feels like while Summer Games Fest tries to maintain what E3 was like on TV, the amount of, I guess, not excitement, but like the energy doesn't feel the same. You know, like it just feels like it feels like a it feels like a giant commercial. And like maybe that's what E3 always was, but maybe it was also because E3 was like a convention as well. Summer Game
Yeah.
Fest is just a show. Like that's it. So maybe it's just that element is always different. But Xbox always like has that hype to it, you know?
Yeah.
And it has that E3 feel to it where they have the big announcement and stuff like that. But that's why I felt like
They
this
tend to
year
forget.
it was kind of like
I'm gonna get a timer.
Sorry.
Sorry to get timers. Jesus Christ.
I know. I mean, granted, we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall this was like more of like a low key year, but next year I feel like might be like the big year.
We'll discuss that next year.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next year.
That was everything for all the news we had. I know we ran a little bit longer than normal, but we did have a lot to get through.
Yeah. So with that being said, remember if you're listening to us on a podcast, you can share us, like us, and rate us. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That will definitely help us. Also, look in the description. You can see our sponsors. Click the links. You can save some money off of NordVPN, W Energy, and Starforge PCs. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.